and that's this really cool zoom lens from DZOFILM. And this is a 20 to 70 millimeter zoom lens. What I like about this lens is that it's just solidly built, well thought out, and produces really good image quality. When you're just looking at the construction of the lens, you'll notice that the three rings here for the focus, the zoom, and then the aperture control, they're all geared. It's a standard pitch gear ratio of 0.8. So it's going to work with your standard follow focus accessories. And the first ring here is the focus ring. It's very smooth. It has a nice big throw, so it allows you to basically get your focus spot on perfectly. The zoom ring also, as you can see, is geared. What I like is that they give you this little thing here, this little knob. So a lot of times I would just use that to kind of zoom in and reframe my shots, and it just produces beautiful, image quality throughout the full zoom range. And if you set the back focus correctly, it will actually keep your focus on your subject as you're zooming in and out, which is very important. And then this here ring, that's for your aperture. Again, it's not step down aperture ring like you have in photography lenses. This is a cinema lens, so it gives you a nice smooth, basically here turn, which again means that if you want to adjust your aperture in the middle of your take, you can do it smoothly. The last ring here is for your back focus, so that's how you would adjust that. And then you do have a little knob here that again you can tighten or loosen it, so once you find it perfectly, you just lock it. The front of the lens is threaded. It's a 77 millimeter threading up there, so again you can put your variable NDs and all that stuff. And I would say that that's kind of where I like using this lens, is that because it gives you this nice range of 20 to 70. I usually film most of the time in like somewhere around 50 millimeters, but it's always nice then to have be able to zoom out or zoom in a little bit more if you need to, and still not have to worry then basically about, let's say if you attach a variable ND filter in the front, or if you have a matte box even or whatever, you don't have to worry about taking out the lens, refitting your filters or your matte box, things like that. You just put on your variable ND, in my case, which I use with this most of the time, and then put this on your camera, and you're ready to go and kind of run and gun with this. And I would say this is where it's going to be really helpful having a lens like this. It's kind of like these run and gun, maybe documentary kind of filmmaking, where you want to have the option of very different basically focal lengths all in one lens that you don't need to change, that you can just quickly set up your camera, zoom in, pick out your framing, and just start recording very quickly. The image quality, like you guys can see for yourself, I think it produces really nice images. I also love actually the way that this lens flares when you point it like even straight out into the sun, or even artificial lights. It basically just produces, in my opinion, very natural looking flares. They're not too sharp or too mechanical looking. They kind of bloom nicely. If you have for example, in some shots I had the sun kind of just off angle here, and it just gives you this kind of a nice bloom. I think it's a nice overall lens. And now, is it as sharp as some of these other cinema zoom lenses on the market that cost 10 times as much as this even? Maybe it's not as sharp, but you know what, it's plenty of sharp for me. I find that I prefer when lenses aren't overly sharp, because they almost look like too fake, too digital. Now, if I happen to have a lens that's, let's say, very sharp, that doesn't mean I'm not going to use it. It just means that in that case, I'm going to put some kind of a softening filter in front. This lens, I find I didn't need to put any filters. It just looks nice, organic, smooth. Like I said, the lens flares are nice. And then it's just a very well-designed functional lens. So a great, I think, addition for anybody shooting on any Micro Four Thirds camera. And definitely if you want to have a nice cinema lens, but kind of have multiple focal lengths all in one lens, so you can, again, work quicker and reframe, set up your shots quicker.